on USA Global TV.
Hi, Red O'Loughlin here with the Talking Heads show on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And I thank God, Dr. Jacqueline, for giving me this opportunity. I've done, I guess, dozens of these throughout 2022, coming up on a 1 year anniversary very quickly. And to end this year, we didn't have a program last week because of Christmas. I started a two-part series on health hacks, and that's what we're going to continue on is what can you do nice and easy that will allow you to improve your health. And let's just go ahead and pop up this first slide if I can get it to come up. There we go. And back up one. And that. My disclaimer is I'm not a doctor, never been associated with any pharmaceutical company. I'm a researcher. I research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat a symptom, and you'll always be treating symptoms. I fell in love with chemistry when I was a sophomore in high school. I got a degree in it. Unfortunately, I got an invitation to Vietnam before I had a chance to do any practice of it. So I never really got into it. I've done a couple little forays where I touched on it for a short period of time, but nothing appreciable. But my wife came down with breast cancer about 6, 7 years ago, and it kind of forced me to go back in and do some research into what can I do based on what I can find in the literature. And there was a lot of things that the medicines have side effects, but those side effects are treatable. And so I had a fair degree of success, and all of a sudden I fell back in love again with chemistry. And that's what I do now on almost on a daily basis. I love that challenge of going in there and finding out some new pathway for Alzheimer's or something I didn't know about pain control or some other aspect. And in the process of preparing for the end of 2022 and saying what New Year's resolutions, whatever it may happen to be, what are the little things that we can do to be better prepared for the next year? And as such, I came across this, the term's health hack, but hack in many, many areas has a negative connotation. We talk about hacking a system or hacking a bank vault or whatever, the security on a computer. But a health hack is also known as a biohack. And these are things that allow you to do something incrementally that will change over time your lifestyle that ends up with an improvement in some aspect of your health or well-being. And they're generally easy. They're relatively fast. They have a tendency, if you're consistent in doing them, to being longer lasting. And there's something that most of us don't even think about. And if you look at hacks in a variety of other areas, there are a lot of them out there for the different industries that we have. Now, what I did was I talked about what are the causes of aging, basically our telomere length and our human growth hormone. Both of those things have an effect on our actual aging. So if you go back to the last episode, I go into detail about how we can slow down the loss or the erosion of our telomere length at the end of our DNA. And what can we do to speed up or grow more human growth hormone? And they're relatively easy. It's not rocket science, but it's something that everybody can do. Then the next thing I did 2 weeks ago was we talked about the primary causes of disease. We have stress and toxins and radiation and inflammation and diet and expectations. And I went through each of those, not quickly, but I talked about what we needed to do with each one so that people have an idea, well, these things can create a problem. What can you do literally on a daily basis to fix each one? Diet being one that we have a major control in our life. And expectations, you wouldn't think so, but we have genes, and our genes somewhat predetermine what we are, but that determination if it's on a negative basis, is probably about 5%, 7%, 9% at the most. But 90% plus are really determined by what we call epigenetics, our lifestyle. If we're not smoking, we're not overweight, we control our stress, chances are we're not going to take it and turn a switch on for a gene. But if we're eating healthy, we're doing exercise, we're going to turn the gene on that is a health related gene. So you have genes that can affect your health, good or bad. And it's your matter of being able to turn on the healthy genes and turn off the unhealthy genes. We talked a little bit about that. And then I said, what are the key factors before we get into the health hacks? What are the key factors that affect all of us for a better life? Balanced nutrition, caloric restriction. In other words, we cut back our calories by roughly about 30%. Most nutritionists will tell us we need 15 calories per pound of body weight. So if you're 100 pounds, that's 1,500 calories daily. But in reality, if you cut back your calories by 30%, and instead of 1,500 calories for a 100-pound person, you cut that back to 1,000. You do this with laboratory animals, and they found that animals live 20, 30, 40% longer. They don't have the age-related diseases other animals have. They don't have a lot of the effects of aging just by reducing your calories, but you have to keep your nutrition balanced because you don't want to be in a deficient condition, because that mimics a lot of issues and can cause a lot of problems. We talked about sleep and stress and weight management, and even a little bit about expectation management. So let me go ahead and jump into what are the hacks that we can do. And I kind of looked this thing. I'm a naval aviator, and we talk about in aviation a target-rich environment. No matter what you shoot, it's an enemy. It's there. And if you were looking at it from a tree, low-hanging fruit is another term that's there. So what are those things that we can do today, immediately, that will have an effect on our life? Now, just because you do it one time doesn't mean it's going to work from then on. These are things that you have to do and continue to do for a while. One of the things I changed years ago to was a smaller plate. I used to use the regular large size dinner plate. Now I use a smaller salad plate for my dinner. Everything goes on that one plate. That's it. It's full. I don't go back for seconds. You're restricting your calories because you can't put everything on there. And you may think, well, I'm not getting as much as I have. Well, maybe part of the problem was you were getting too much to eat. And as a result, maybe those extra 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 pounds got added on, and they just don't seem to want to go away. But a smaller plate is a simple, easy thing you can start today. Just that's what you use for every meal, and you fill up the plate, but don't go back for seconds. Water. We have stomach acid. It's there for a reason. It's there to extract the nutrients from the foods that we eat. But if you're drinking something while you're eating, you're taking that gastric juice, that acid, and you're diluting it. It's not as effective in getting the nutrients out of the food. So if you're choosing foods that have a fair amount of liquid in them, they're moist fruits and vegetables and things, you're going to find that you really don't even need water or a liquid at meal. But if you're going to have something there, just sip it when you need it. But drink your water or whatever you're having 30 minutes prior to eating and 30 minutes after eating. That allows the stomach acid to do most of the work that it needs to do. Well, if you're having foods, why not buy healthier foods? We hear the term organic. There's all sorts of things out there when you start looking at terms. And maybe part of 2023 should be one of those things where you read and understand the labels, not just the label on the product, but the labels that go across the front. If it says organic, is that really organic? If it says pasture fed, it says non-caged. What do those terms really mean? Gluten-free, all sorts of terms out there. And Dr. Google and Dr. YouTube have all sorts of videos and information on what does organic really mean. And if I'm going to spend an extra 50 cents for this particular fruit or vegetable, what is it really worth to me? Well, depending on a number of factors in your body, the toxins that may be in that regular food that you're buying all the time, this may be one way of reducing those toxins. It may be a way of getting a healthier input into your body. But there are so many things there that that we just take for granted. We don't even know. We've been doing it forever. But along with reading and understanding the labels have to show what's in there. So if it shows something that it's like ice cream. One of the carcinogens in ice cream is called carrageenan. And carrageenan makes that ice cream taste so luscious, so smooth, so velvety, so creamy. Just you're wondering why you can't make ice cream at home and have it as creamy as you buy from the store. Well, it has these extra added ingredients, and sometimes they add in extra colors in order to make things look better, or they add in extra preservatives to make things last longer. Well, if you take a look at that exact same food product label in Europe and compare it to the United States, there may only be 7 items in the European food made by the same company, same manufacturer, same everything, literally same packaging. But in the United States, there'll be 2 or 3 times, there may be 20 items in that same one because the restrictions that Europe puts on toxins are totally different than what the United States puts on them. So understanding labels and what's in there, but if it has a food color, avoid it. If it has fragrance, avoid it. There's just a lot of things. But when you start getting into your personal care products, your body lotions, your hair shampoos, your everything you put on your body, your toothbrushes, your underarm deodorants, all sorts of things have extra items in there. What would be best for us is to find those that have almost nothing in them that still give us the intended response that we want. Underarm deodorant, I use coconut oil. I find it to be very effective. It's a great lotion. It's good in so many different ways, but I buy it as unprocessed, as a cold, unfiltered coconut oil. I use it to cook with. I use it in so many different ways. Another health hack that we can look at when we start setting goals for 2023, our New Year's resolutions. One of those things, well, I want to lose weight. Well, our our mind, our subconscious mind hears the same thing, and its whole purpose in life is not to allow you to be embarrassed or hurt. But if you've done something in the past and you didn't succeed, it doesn't want you to fail. Even though it may be good for you, like losing weight, it's going to counteract everything that you want to do. So set a realistic goal. Maybe the realistic goal is I want to lose 2 inches in my waist. Well, maybe that's a goal your brain hasn't heard before. And that's something that's doable because there's nothing there that's going to counter that. But along with that, you need consistency. The easiest way that I've found ever to be consistent in something is to have an accountability partner. So if you have a spouse, a friend, even just a partner, a coworker, and all you may end up doing is just texting a smiley face to somebody saying, "Hey, I did what I was supposed to do today." There's no reason you have to get on a long phone call with somebody on a regular basis or send an email back and forth. But somebody that you say, "I did what I was supposed to do, and I'm consistent today," and that accountability partner will hold you accountable for what you tell them they want to do. So if you're saying, "Okay, I'm going to cut back. I want to do intermittent fasting and only eat within a 6-hour window," and every day you send them a thumbs up that was achieved, great. If you send them a thumbs down, you know, yeah, 1 or 2 is probably not too bad in a month. But if you're getting 3 or 4 thumbs down in a row, maybe you need to talk to your accountability partner to see what's going on in your life. Stress is something that affects all of us. And during Christmas and New Year's and all sorts of other things, family, all sorts of things get in our way. We've just gone through the last month of upstairs bathroom renovation and downstairs bathroom renovation, and it has just kicked our butt with regard to all sorts of things going on. And it has made a significant difference in what's going on. Regardless, we understand it, but sometimes the stress just gets to us. Sugar restraint. Reading labels allow you to see how many carbohydrates are in something. And the biggest item that I look at on every single label is the sample size. Is this one particular thing I'm eating, is it a sample of 7 individual things? So I would have to multiply everything by 7 in order to say if I ate the whole thing, that it's 7 times what's there. So look at the size of what you're eating. If it's 1 ounce and there's 12 ounces in whatever is there, you really need to know what's there, because sugar restraint is something that if I'm going to cut back, it only has 3 grams of carbohydrates or 3 grams of sugar. Well, that may be fine, but if there's six of those and you're eating all six at one time, it's not three, it's 18. And so it's becoming aware and being knowledgeable of what you're eating. We talked a little while ago about having liquid 30 minutes before and after our eating. Well, hydration is super critical for our bodies. And that is something that needs to start in the morning. If we wake up, first thing you do, go to the bathroom, you're probably dehydrated. And the first thing you want to do is go have something to eat or drink. Well, a lot of us have a habit for coffee or tea the first thing in the morning. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're eating just because it's a habit, maybe you're dehydrated and your body's telling you you're hungry, and then really you're just dehydrated. So maybe it's a better way of listening to our bodies as to when do we eat, what do we eat. I talked about avoiding toxins. There are as many toxins in the foods that we have as there is in the air that we breathe, in the clothes that we wear, the soap that you use to wash your clothes in, the personal care products. Toxins are all over the place. Our liver has to process them. If you're not taking time away from eating, sometimes you hear nutritionists say, well, you really need 5 or 6 or 7 small meals a day. To me, I think that's probably some of the worst advice possible, because you never allow that sugar balance to settle down. You never give your liver time to really relax and do its job. So if you can avoid some of the toxins on the front end, you're actually allowing your liver to do its job more properly. If I get into fasting, I do a 72-hour fast every month. I do an intermittent fast every day. Intermittent fast means that there is a window that I don't eat in. That window is 15 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours, whatever that window may be for an individual. So if I'm eating 2 meals a day and I can eat between noon and 6 p.m., and I have my first meal at 12:30, my last meal at 5:30, but I have 18 hours of intermittent fasting, I don't eat during that period of time. I don't take anything that causes a metabolic response in my body. So those are things that can be done. But if you're a breakfast person and you need to be able to have, and you're working and you can't do, I mean, there are a lot of options out there. But prolonged fasting on a periodic basis, maybe over a weekend, something to consider. A prolonged fast is where you just have water only. I have water or unsweet tea. OMAD, 1 meal a day. A lot of people take that 1 meal a day, and that's what they have, whether it's late afternoon, early evening, noontime. We hear the best meal of the day is our breakfast. Well, that's American propaganda. If you look at Western philosophy, that's what they say. Breakfast is the most needed, healthiest meal. But in reality, if you look at Eastern philosophy, they said, I don't care whether you eat breakfast or not. It's not that important. To Eastern philosophy, they would rather have a large lunch, allow your body to digest that stuff throughout the rest of the day, and then have a light meal later on in the afternoon. But if we're sitting there and we have a big meal for breakfast, we have another sizable meal for lunch, and then we come home and have a big meal, all of a sudden it's going to affect your sleep, is going to affect a lot of things. So fasting is something that can be incorporated. It depends, a lot of issues with there. But again, if there's something going on, you're diabetic, talk to your doctor about what you can do and make sure somebody's following you on that, because that's a tough one to walk down that road without doing it before. Exercise. Well, we hear this all the time. It gets more blood through the system. It gets more blood to our brain. We feel better, endorphins, all sorts of things. But walking is as good as anything else if you've never done it. It gets you outside, fresh air, sunshine. But sometimes the exercise is not just lifting weights and running. Sometimes that exercise is just getting up and down from a chair. Maybe the commercial's on, hit the mute button, and hold on to the back of the chair and just do some squats. Maybe it's standing on one leg to get balance. Maybe it's stretching. There are a lot of different kinds of exercises we can do, and they all add value to our lives. I'm a big person on medical appointments. I have not missed an annual physical since 1968. I got involved with the Navy on flight physicals for 31 years. And when I got out of the Navy, I kept I'm not getting the flight physical anymore, but I'm getting my annual medical checkups, whatever they may be. And that includes the dental, and for me being a redhead, dermatology and things. So make sure, if you have not had one in a while, even if it's just a wellness check, which is less intensive, less costly, have somebody take a look at you on an annual basis, because you need a baseline saying, this is where I am today. If something changes in the future, then you know where you were and what may options might be more applicable because you can catch something a whole lot sooner. Get more sunshine. Well, UV light is good in many, many regards. If we get too much of it, we get sunburn. But infrared is something that goes all the way down to the cellular level of our bodies. I've written about it, I've spoken on a couple occasions. But infrared is probably more valuable than anything else out there. Yet we wear long sleeve shirts, we put on sunblock, we have panes in our windows, we're going to LED lights. We're doing everything in our power to get away from infrared. We're getting more and more exposure to blue light off our computers and televisions and everything. We really do need more sunshine. And that is one thing that for the people living in the South is much easier to get in the wintertime than the North. But it's something as you start factoring into your lifestyle, how can you get more sunshine? How can you get out there in that fresh air and do more? Some more health hacks. Tai Chi, yoga, those are things that you can see on YouTube and just kind of follow along. It'd be nice if you joined a class and you actually had in person massages. I fell in love with Japanese massages back in the early '70s. I've never had one before. I'm over in Japan. A whole group of us go to a massage place, and it's amazing. Family is in there, just all sorts of things. I fell in love with it, and from there I've been to 61 countries in the world. I've had massages all over the world. It's something that I love, and it's such a health thing to have. And sometimes you can actually do a personal, self massage certain parts of our body. But there's also massage schools, and they need people to come in and be not guinea pigs, but they need people to work on. And you may think, okay, well, it's a massage. They actually have to go through a lot of education on the muscles, the tendons, the everything there, and so they need people to practice on. That may be a low cost option. Gut health. Uh, Most of us don't think about it. We just eat and eat and eat, and sometimes our gut works well, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it gets upset. Sometimes we vomit. Sometimes we have diarrhea. Everything that happens has to go through our gut, and your gut health is easy to control with fiber, with probiotics, with prebiotics, but it's one of those things we don't think of very much. You want to get more nutrients out of our food, we need to have the proper things in our gut. Now, our gut, as I talked about in the mental health, and I talked about it in our brain health sections, your gut is your second brain. And you start looking at everything. You talk about gut feeling. Well, your gut literally is your second brain. There's so many things in there that go back and forth between your brain and your gut to stop eating, to feel just lots of things. So let's take a look at. Dr. Berg is one that I like, Berg, on his YouTubes. So you put in Dr. Berg gut health, and you'll find so many things in there that, oh, that's neat. I can do that. Uh, Posture. A lot of times we lounge in a chair, we watch TV, or we're slopped over a computer. We never really take time to actually sit up, sit straight, and try to improve our posture. A simple thing. Maybe every time a commercial comes on, move to the edge of your chair and just sit on the edge of your chair with your back straight, your shoulders back. Again, a lot of YouTube videos on how to improve your posture. Uh, Virgin territory if you've never done it before. Um, Smoking. Again, we all know the hazards of that. Stop or go ahead and seek help on that. Alcohol, we hear so many things about, well, glass is fine, but there's nothing saying you have to have a glass every single night. So, maybe what you might want to do is have a glass tonight, no glass tomorrow, have another glass the following night. Or if you're out at a party, particularly New Year's Eve coming up, you have a glass of wine or beer, but in between, have a glass of tea, have some water, a bottle of water, but switch off in between so you're cutting down, reducing the amount of alcohol that you have. When's the last time you actually assessed, evaluated what are the excesses in your life? We have certain habits, we have lifestyles. Are we eating too many carbohydrates? Are we eating too much fried chicken? Are we not exercising? That's a habit of not doing something. But what are we doing that we shouldn't be doing? And again, if we actually sat down and said to ourselves, self, what am I doing wrong? We could probably come up with a list of 4 or 5 or 6 items. We don't need to fix them all at one time. We don't need to cut them all back to zero at one time. But let's just take something. Maybe let's take fried chicken. Maybe we don't need the 3 pieces of fried chicken when we order something. Maybe we only can get by with 2. Maybe I don't need the full breast. Maybe I can get by with just a wing and a drumstick. Look at cutting back on the size, cutting back on the quantity, whatever those habits may be, uh, especially anything dealing with stress. Celebrate our small wins. So we're stressed. We actually, okay, I got through today and it was pretty good. I feel good. I only had 2 small pieces of chicken. Great. Celebrate them in a celebratory, not with a glass of wine or champagne, but just recognize the fact that you did well. Some people love to have indoor plants. They look good. Sometimes they exchange oxygen, carbon dioxide out of the air. But indoor plants, if it's not something that you've done before, maybe putting one in your kitchen, in your bathroom, in the next to your TV, in your office. There are a lot of places where an indoor plant. Now, again, if you don't water them, they're going to die. But look at the leaves; they're vibrant, and all of a sudden they start to droop. That's a clue. That's a hint. So water them accordingly. What lifestyle changes? This is something you need to talk to your doctor about. Dr. Google and Dr. YouTube will have answers for you. But if you're on some kind of medicine right now, high blood pressure, diabetes, heaven only knows what you might be on, there may be some things you can do with a lifestyle change that will allow you to eliminate uh, your medicine, reduce the dosage. But you need to talk to the person who put you on those medicines. That's the person that can evaluate that. And you say, hey, doc, I'm going to start this exercise program. My plan is to lose 20 pounds. I'm on this high blood pressure medicine. I'll continue monitoring, but uh, I'd like to come back in a couple of months and have you check me out and see if maybe we can reduce my dosage. They're generally pretty amenable to things. If you change your lifestyle, it's for the best. They'll generally work with you as an accountability partner to say, we can work with that sounds like a good plan. Let's try that. Um, Reduce grilled foods. Now, grilled foods have that char on the outside that tastes so good that when we look at a charred piece of beef or chicken or whatever we're looking at, uh, the things that really make us taste and salivate. Some of those things have advanced oxidative products, AGEs, advanced glycation elements to it. We need to be very careful of those. So see if you can't reduce some of those. I'm not telling you cut them out. I'm just saying reduce. Maybe you have something and you just cut it in half and eat half of it now. Okay, maybe you weren't going to eat it, but look at what you have. What can you do to cut those things back? Better pain management. Anything you're taking as a pain med that's a prescription has side effects, and it's going to affect the body's one way, shape, or form. There are things that we can do. Emotional freedom technique, EFT. We tap certain areas of our body. That's been known for hundreds of years to reduce pain. We have chemicals in our body, um, PEA, palmitoic ethanolamide, PEA, pain control. Google that. It's available on the internet. Our body makes it. We just don't make as much later on in life. It's great for neuropathic pain. Um, Maybe we need something to address swelling. There's a lot of antidiuretics that work. Turmeric, the yellow curry that we see in Indian food, but you need the black pepper extract, piperine, to make it more bioavailable. There's a lot of things out there that work very, very well, but you need to know what they are. And if you're on a pain management protocol with a doctor, let him or her know what you're doing. There's a lot of medical and health apps out there. I'm getting ready to buy one that I can put my fingers on 2 pads, and it's basically an EKG that I could send that EKG to my doctor, my cardiologist. I think they're available under $100. But it's one of those ones that I'm looking at getting. But there's a lot of things out there that if you have something that needs to be checked, why not use the technology? It's there. If I want to get some blood work done, I want to know what my C-reactive protein is. I can go down to a local blood laboratory and have it done for $20 versus $200 they're going to charge me if I go through my insurance company. And maybe it's something that I can check every other month just to make sure that I'm maintaining. But one of the best things you can do is just keep a journal of what's going on in your life. What is there that you can do that is, okay, I had this to eat today. My blood pressure was this. I had this stress relief. This is my weight today. keep track of what's going on. And if you have a concern when you go in to see your doctor, I'm losing my mind, I can't remember things. You can take a look and say, doctor, here's the last 60 days of what's going on. And that's very valuable. But, just as keto offers you an option for 2023, intermittent fasting, better sleep, taking better care of our gut, uh, stress management, just lots and lots of things that are out there. Our epigenetics, our better lifestyle, insulin resistance, doing better at our sugar management, uh, a better exercise program than we have right now. There's just so many things out there that if we just start paying attention to them, that we can improve our life. My website is redolaflin.com. That's R-E-D, like the color, Olaflin, OLAUGHLIN.com. So Red Olaflin, REDOLAUGHLIN.com. And I'm a speaker, author, publisher. I'm available. Just contact me. My website, at my website, there's my phone number, my email. But my best-selling book on Amazon, The Joy of Ageless Health, talks about what causes disease and what you can do about it. And my Longevity Secrets to Healthy Aging talks about telomere length and our human growth hormone and what accelerates or decelerates the aging process. And with that, I'm concluding my final broadcast on the Talking Heads program of the USA Global TV and Radio Network for 2022. And I look forward to you all joining me in 2023. And I thank you very, very much for all the support that I've received this year, and especially from Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Thank you. And you all have a wonderful time and a happy new year, and look forward to chatting with you all next year. Take care.